CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Interest rate hikes could be working. New numbers from the Commerce Department show the economy overcame high inflation and interest rates and grew at an annual rate of 2.6% in the third quarter, reversing 2 straight quarters of decline. Bob Dahl at Crossmark Global Investments.
The inflation number in the GDP report was a little better than we saw in the last quarter. Problem, but it is lessening as a problem as expected, thanks due to the Fed's action.
Factors in the rise, increases in consumer and government defense spending. A senior Ukrainian military officer is accusing Russia of planning to stage explosions at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and blame them on Ukraine. Correspondent Holly Williams got an inside look at the war from an American volunteer, and his story is disturbing.
Probably about 20 or 30 guys burning alive and several gunshots. There's nothing else to do. So a lot of guys have suicide pistols, and you hear them scream, and then they would say goodbye.
Committing suicide with their own pistols.
Yes, ma'am.
Here in the U.S., Herschel Walker denying a new second claim that he paid for a woman to have an abortion. Georgia's Republican Senate candidate tells Fox it's a ploy by his Democratic opponent, Raphael Warnock.
Yeah. And I've said this is a lie. I've moved on, and they want me to play these guessing games and all of this, but I'm not.
A woman who wants to remain anonymous claims Walker drove her to a clinic twice in the early 90s. Police investigating Monday's school shooting in St. Louis that killed a student and a teacher say the 19-year-old gunman had the murder weapon taken from him more than a week before. Interim Police Chief Michael Sachs says the department got a call from Orlando Harris' mother.
They contacted us and said that he had a phone. I believe it could have possibly been this gun.
They don't know how he got it back. Possibility of a crippling freight rail strike has just gone up, with signalmen rejecting management's latest offer. Agree, DeYoung.
As time goes on, so many products move by train, you would start to see inability to move automobiles, inability to move consumer packaged goods. Even a lot of Amazon shipments spend some time on a train.
Union members holding out for sick leave pay. Penguin Random House has just announced a release date for Prince Harry's Royal Tell-All. CBS's Steve Dorsey has more from London.
The book, called Spare, is due out January 10th. It's an apparent reference to Prince Harry being a royal substitute, not the first in line to succession. Harry's publisher says the 416-page book is an account told with, quote, raw, unflinching honesty.
Dow Futures.
From trauma to healing.
This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best. And my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. The best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 33 degrees at 9:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Percha. No injuries were reported in a house fire in Saginaw last night. Responded to the 2600 block of East Genesee around 8:20. A fire was burning in the second-story home of a family of four. Everyone inside the house was able to evacuate safely. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. The Saginaw man has been arrested on charges of 31-year-old Travis Lee Bronson was arrested following an investigation by State Police Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force in which digital evidence. Police say the investigation started when it was learned he had accessed files on the internet containing child sexually abusive material. Bronson was arraigned Friday on 2 counts of aggravated possession of child sexually abusive material, 1 count of possession of child sexually abusive material, and 2 counts of using a computer to commit a crime. Police are looking for a suspect in a murder investigation. 39-year-old Charles Crutcher is wanted on charges of first-degree premeditated murder and domestic violence. The case 18th in the 1200 block of Lillian Drive in Flint, where police say Crutcher stabbed a man to death. Crutcher is black, 6'1", and about 175 pounds. He's considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information about Crutcher or the homicide can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-422-JAIL. A reward of up to $1,000 is being offered for information leading to an arrest of the suspect. WSGW News Time, 9:07.
Do you have Medicare questions? Confused by all those TV ads? There are options available to you now through December 7th that you didn't have before. Of Saginaw, they work with all the major companies in the state: dental, vision, hearing aids, transportation, free meals, no charge over-the-counter drug purchases, plans as low as no cost. Talk to Medicare Choices. It'll be the best call you ever made. For your no-fee service, call 989-899-7820. Medicare Choices of Saginaw. Again, 989-899-7820.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do. But you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AA.
WSGW News Time, 9:08. The weather forecast is next. It's a video gaining a lot of attention. A Detroit school bus driver fighting with an elementary school student.
Be with you in a few minutes.
Shows both the driver and
No problem at all, Arch.
And wrestling with each other while other students are screaming. A statement from Detroit Public Schools says the fight occurred yesterday on a Trinity bus. The driver has been removed from DPS service and may be fired by the contractor. Detroit police are also investigating the fight this morning. The Macomb County prosecutor is sending out a warning ahead of the upcoming November election. Here is Michigan News Network's Sandra McNeil with this report.
Macomb County prosecutor Pete Lucido says he's concerned there are plans to try and intimidate voters at the polls.
We're one of several states that are targeted by organizations that recruit citizens to come here that are supposed to go ahead and do things that are unlawful. And oversight is extremely important right now.
Lucido says supporters have a right to hand out leaflets outside. However,
if they're following you and threatening you or making, accusations about certain things that yet, if they are interfering with the people that are trying to run our elections and make threats and or threats of violence, then yes, they've broke the law. And I want to get it out there early enough that everyone gets notice.
Lucido says that's a felony with a penalty of up to 5 years in prison. Sandra McNeil, Michigan News Network.
Ford lost $827 million in the third quarter as the automaker is exiting the self-driving car business. That decision will cost Ford another $2.7 billion. But long-term, Chief Financial Officer John Lawler says they are better off focusing on driver assistance systems rather than driving vehicles. Ford made $1.3 billion pre-tax in North America, the number that profit sharing is based upon. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 910. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Mostly sunny skies and light winds for today. Highs will top out near 50 degrees. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy skies. Winds remain 235. Friday, lots more sunshine. Winds still light. Highs warm into the upper 50s. Friday night, mostly clear skies. Winds stay light again. Lows fall back to 33. Looking at Saturday, sunshine remains in the forecast. Highs reach 61. Lows head down to 38 with increasing clouds Saturday night. And then highs climb to the upper 50s to near 60 on Sunday. I'm Phil Jenska with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Right now it's 31.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show, coming to you from my Saginaw Spirit home studio. Nice to have you with us on this Thursday morning. We'll have lots of time for open phones later on in the program, but we're going to begin this morning talking about the Saginaw Bay and lots of programs going on in the Saginaw Bay. With me this morning is the director of the Great Lakes Office and Saginaw Bay program of the Conservation Fund. And we say good morning to Michael Kelly. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Art. Glad to be with you. It's been a while. I think the last time we were in the studio together anyway was February of 2020, I think.
Yeah,
so
just before the pandemic.
Right before we all got ejected from our studios and
yeah.
offices. So it's glad to be back.
Well, before we get started on some of these topics, let's do a bit of an overview of the organization you're with and what you do.
Sure, right on. So the Conservation Fund is a national nonprofit group. We're based in Arlington, Virginia. That's where our headquarters office is. We have about 200 employees. About half of them are out there in DC. I'm in Bay City and have been working for the Conservation Fund for about 20 years. Most of what we do is real estate related. We do a lot of conservation land acquisition in partnership with state, federal, and local governments. But then we also have this eclectic mix of programs throughout the country. And one of those is our Saginaw Bay Watershed Initiative Network program that we administer out of our office here in Bay City, which is a grant-making entity. So we do a number of things, but what we're primarily known for is our partnership with a number of regional corporations and foundations that contribute resources to us that we then regrant to projects that have environmental, community, and economic impacts to them. So we've been doing that about 20 years, have granted out about $5 million to 300 projects, probably leveraged another $12.5 million from other foundations and state grants. But it's been a terrific project and a number of really great supporters that have stuck with us for a couple of decades now.
And this is part of the program a lot of us just refer to as WIN, right?
Right on. That's exactly it. Correct.
All right. So let's talk about some of these programs. Let's start with the Bay itself. Mm-hmm. What's the health of Saginaw Bay?
Yeah, so we just had a conference. Every couple of years, we have a conference called our State of the Bay Conference. And we held that back on September 22nd, so just a few weeks ago. And the purpose of that conference is really to talk about all of the things that are going on across Saginaw Bay and, in general, discuss the health of it. So when you talk about the health of Saginaw Bay, you really have to talk about the Saginaw Bay watershed, because everything that drains into the bay obviously impacts it. And here in Bay City, we're at the end of the pipe, so to speak. So the Saginaw Bay watershed is about 22 counties, 8 major river basins. So you think about the Tittabawassee River, the Flint River, the Cass, all of those at some point end up in the Saginaw River and Saginaw Bay. So conditions wise, each one of those tributaries is a little different. So you have some that are heavily impacted by agriculture. So you have some nutrient problems on some of them. You have other ones that drain forest lands where you don't have water quality problems. But kind of in general, writ large, the Saginaw Bay water quality is better today than it's been in a long, long time. We still have nutrient issues, which is similar to the western basin of Lake Erie, although not as bad. But we have a long ways to go, but we've made really good progress in the past 30 or 40 years.
I think a lot of people would have thought that the nutrient issues had disappeared because of the removal of phosphates, but not so.
Not exactly. So phosphates obviously were removed from household dishwashing detergents and those types of things, and have been used sparingly in lawn fertilizers, for example. But from an agricultural perspective, they're still used, and there still are exemptions from them. And it's sometimes not so much the new inputs of nutrients into the bay. It's kind of these legacy inputs that are still in the substrate of the bay, still in the sand and mud in the bottom of the bay that because of winds and storm events sometimes get resuspended and come back into the system and continue their work to create algae blooms and everything else. So it's not so much the inputs of today, it's the inputs of yesterday that we're still concerned about.
All right, let's talk about it from the fisheries standpoint, because obviously it's not only a commercial area for fishing, but it's a huge sports fishing area.
Right.
Is the fishing healthy right now in Saginaw Bay?
The fishing on Saginaw Bay is second to none in the world in terms of the freshwater fishery. Obviously the number one, the sexy species around here to fish for is walleye, and the walleye population is doing extraordinarily well, to the point that next year, for the first time ever, there'll be no closed season on the Saginaw River. So that's something
Really?
very unusual. Yeah, that the only other rivers in Michigan where there's no closed season are connecting water bodies like the Detroit River. When you think about the Saginaw River, it's kind of a dead end river. It ends up in a number of other rivers, but there's only one way in and one way out. But the population is so high that the DNR has decided that we're going to have an open season all year long. It would not surprise me during that run next spring in the Saginaw River if a state record walleye didn't come out of there. The walleye fishing is that good. But beyond the walleye fishing, Saginaw Bay is now on the map as one of the Midwest top bass fisheries. We've had a number of bass tournaments in Bay City over the past couple of years, and we have two major tournaments coming next year. One on July 20th through the 22nd, which is the National Professional Fishing League, is going to be here. That's about 120 anglers. And then kind of the granddaddy of all professional bass fishing shows up on August 1st through the 6th, which is called the Bass Pro Shops Major League Fishing League. And that is some of the elite anglers from across the country. So if you're a bass fisherman, you know the names Skeet Reese and Kevin Van Dam. Some of these are just legendary anglers, and they're all coming to Bay City to check out the Saginaw Bay's bass fishery, which is extraordinary.
Smallmouth or largemouth?
Both. So most people, if they can get on the bay, the beauty of these tournaments is that you can fish the bay or the river, and we know that. In a northeast wind in particular, the bay becomes unfishable. It just becomes too rough. So anglers will have the opportunity to fish the river. Anglers that make it to the bay are targeting smallmouth. They'll be going out. We had anglers last year in one of these tournaments leaving Bay City and going as far north as Alpena and Rogers City to track down smallmouth. So those are kind of an open water fish, but there's several anglers that stay right in the Saginaw River system and fish for largemouth. So largemouth tend to be more of a river system fish. But that's the beauty. That's why these tournaments are coming here, because they're giving these alternatives. And so they won't have to cancel a day because of weather. If you don't want to go on the bay, there are plenty of fish to be had right here in the river. So both species ultimately are what will be weighed in.
All right, let's talk for a minute about one of the ugliest and most ancient fishes, the sturgeon, the lonely sturgeon.
I think they're beautiful.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Right.
So there's an effort to restore sturgeon life, isn't there?
Yeah, we're probably witnessing right now one of the greatest restoration projects to ever take place in the history of Saginaw Bay. So about 20 years ago, a few of us got together and talked about sturgeon, which once were one of the most prolific species in all of the Saginaw Bay and Saginaw River system. But their habitat was decimated. They were overfished, and now they have what's called a remnant population, a non-viable population that is considered to be extirpated, which is regionally extinct, and there's not a population here large enough to even spawn. And so about 20 years we started to talk about what would it take to bring sturgeon back, and one of the first things we did was work on habitat. So you might be familiar with the dam removal in Frankenmuth and the dam removal in Chesaning. both of those opened up about a cumulative total of about 200 miles of important water upstream of those dams where sturgeon historically had spawned. And then 5 years ago, we began the actual restoration process, bringing in fingerlings from the Genoa hatchery in Wisconsin, and with a great partnership with Sturgeon for Tomorrow with Black Lake chapter up north, bringing in fish from their hatchery as well. And so over the past few years, we've stocked about 4,500 sturgeon in the river. The great part about this project, Art, is that you still can't target them. They're a threatened species, but people are catching them, particularly ice fishermen in the Saginaw River. We're starting to see them catch 15, 16, 20-inch sturgeon from our early plants. And the fact of the matter is, why this is extraordinary is that over the past 150 years, there had never been a juvenile sturgeon caught on record in the system. And now it's becoming somewhat commonplace, particularly in the winter months. And I just got a report of somebody catching one this week. So it's been a great project. The sturgeon seem to be doing very well. We're very happy with it.
So I'm a layman when it comes to this, so forgive me if this is a stupid question. But you said 15 or 20 inches. Those are juveniles? How
Those
big
are juveniles? Yeah,
how big
juveniles.
does sturgeon get?
Right. So sturgeon get pretty big. The interesting thing about sturgeon is that this is a long-term project. Sturgeon don't reach sexual maturity for 15 or 20 years. And so the sturgeon that we're planting now will go out into the bay, hang around in the bay, and then they'll come back 20 years from now to spawn for the very first time. But they can get very big, obviously. You may remember that last year during a research project, there was a sturgeon caught down in the Detroit River that they estimate was over 100 years old, weighed about 250 pounds, and was 7 feet long. So, they're an amazing fish. They've been around for 170 million years. They've outlived Tyrannosaurus Rex. They truly are. I have people ask me, boy, they're like dinosaurs. And my answer is always, they are dinosaurs. This fish species has not changed in 170 million years, and it's around, and we're thrilled we can bring it back.
So is it the human population that caused their demise?
By and large, yeah. We dammed rivers for forestry, for agriculture. We eliminated opportunities for these fish species to spawn. We treated them early on. They used to get caught in commercial nets, and because they were so big, they would destroy the nets, and so they were treated as a nuisance and destroyed. Later on, folks realized that Great Lake sturgeon caviar was an okay substitute for beluga caviar, and so instead of being treated as a nuisance, then they were targeted, and caviar was sold mainly in Europe, and so it was 99% of it was because of us. You have a species that's been around for 170 million years. Yet it took us only 200 years to virtually eliminate it from the system.
All right, Mike, hang on. I've got to take a break, and we'll come back and chat more. We're talking to Mike Kelly. Michael is the director of the Great Lakes Office and Saginaw Bay program of the Conservation Fund, and we will return with him shortly. Let me ask if you love your pet. Now, I know you love your pet. That's not even a good question, but you're not the only one. Subaru loves your pet and other pets. Subaru Loves Pets Month is going on all this month at Thalen Subaru, 4211 North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. All this month, Thalen is contributing $100 for every new adoption from the Humane Society of Bay County. You could give a fur baby its forever home. Visit the Humane Society of Bay County. The Subaru professionals at Thalen suggest you stop in to order the Subaru of your dreams or see what Thalen has on the way. Subaru features SUVs like the Crosstrek, Forester, Outback, and Ascent. Cars including the Impreza and Legacy. And of course, if performance is your cup of tea, look at the BRZ and the WRX. You can find more information online at thinkthalen.com. Don't forget the Subaru Loves Pets event at Thalen Subaru. Adopt a pet this month from the Humane Society of Bay County, and Thalen will donate $100 to the organization. Thalen, serving your automotive needs for 45 years.
I'm Jacob Hilliker, Bay County Road Commissioner. I believe we deserve more local road funding for the amount of taxes we pay downstate. We all know working people in Bay County have always had to shout a little louder to be heard in Lansing. That's why I'm here. I'm a proud union member, business owner, and I operate it. I don't have time for the national partisan nonsense of the week. I'm here to do a job. Vote Hilliker. Paid for by Jacob Hilliker for Bay County.
At Consumers Energy,
We're harnessing the power of the sun to create a cleaner energy future for Michigan. By 2040, solar energy will provide most of the electricity we deliver to our customers. That's good for the planet and your pocketbook. But we can't get there without your help. We're searching for large parcels of land in Michigan to build solar power plants. If you have a site for us to consider, visit consumersenergy.com/misolar to learn more.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The gross domestic product rose 2.6% in the summer quarter, a positive reading after the GDP declined in the first half of the year. However, it's not necessarily showing broad improvement in the economy. Excluding transportation, the GDP declined 0.5% in the quarter. Another important reading in the report, core capital goods orders declined 0.7%. The main engine of the economy, consumer spending, has been relatively stable this year, and it was up 1.4% in the quarter. Also, the number of people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time increased last week to 217,000, and the number of those still receiving benefits continuing claims rose by 55,000 to 1.43 million. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Kosola, invested in you.
On 9/11, 2,977 people were killed in the worst terrorist attacks of their kind on American soil. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes and their families ever since. Our nation's heroes, people who put their lives on the line for our country and our communities, need your help now more than ever. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at t2t.org. That's T2T.org.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin, liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Michigan football is on WSGW.
He's got a hole. One man to beat. He cuts inside. He's in the clear. Touchdown. Donovan Edwards. 67 yards. Inside handoff, Corum. Big hole. He's in the clear, John. To the 30. Can he win the race to the end zone? He can. How about that? All right.
After pummeling Penn State, the Michigan Wolverines remain undefeated and keep getting better by the week. But next up, in-state rival Michigan when the Spartans invade the Big House under the lights on Saturday, October 29th. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. on 790 News Radio WSGW. Michigan football is brought to you by Zimmelmatic Irrigation Solutions, Schaefer and Beerline, Ram Truck and Frankenmuth, Lingle Equipment Company, Wolf Files, Ace Hardware in Saginaw, and North Bloomfield Properties. It's number 4 Michigan versus Michigan State live Saturday night, October 29th at 6:30 on 790 News Radio WSGW.
Your home for Michigan Wolverines football is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, talking to Michael Kelly, Director of the Great Lakes Office and Saginaw Bay Program of the Conservation Fund, about Saginaw Bay and the river and all its tributaries. So, Michael, let me ask, and I'm pulling this out of the back of my head, so I don't know the factual part of it, all right? But it seems to me I remember at one time the commercial shipping industry had to bring in light loads because of drafting considerations. Has any of that been corrected? Has that changed now? Did they dredge the areas that needed to be dredged?
Yeah, there was an ongoing dredging project in certain parts of the Saginaw River, but ultimately, what solved that was Mother Nature, right? So, interestingly, between 2012 and 2019, we had record low water levels on Saginaw Bay and then record high water levels on Saginaw Bay. So I don't know, Art, how many cubic tons have been removed from the Saginaw River, but there's been an ongoing effort to dredge that. There was also an effort to dredge it even deeper than it had been in the past, so they could bring in bigger boats. And I think that discussion is still taking place. But ultimately, water levels are controlled by Mother Nature, and she helped out a lot in that particular situation.
The mean water level depth if in the channel was what, 26 or 28 feet or something like that.
Yeah, 27 feet. Yeah.
Oh, I got it right in the middle.
You're right on. Yep. Right on.
So let's talk about the substrate of the bay. What's under the water? I know there's a reef project or two going on. Tell us about those and why they're necessary.
Yeah, so Saginaw Bay, interestingly, is like a big sand bowl. Okay, there's very little elevation change in the bay. I mean, obviously, once you leave the shore, it rather consistently gets deeper until you get to about 30 feet deep. But in terms of what's on the bottom, it's sand. And a couple of years ago, we were involved in a project with a broad partnership of folks. To rebuild a reef. So way back in the 1700s and before, there were a series of rock reefs out in Saginaw Bay. And when I say reefs, I don't want people to get the vision that we're talking about the Great Barrier Reef, a coral reef, something like that. This is simply granite and rock reefs that are out in the bay. And those were really important for outer bay fish spawning. Most of our fish now spawn in wetland areas and up in the rivers, but historically a lot of fish had spawned right in the bay on these reefs. And so over time, as we remove forest land from the Saginaw River system, a lot of erosion took place, and that sand that came into the bay mainly came out of the Saginaw River and covered up those reefs. And so a few years ago, we raised a pile of money to build a reef out in Saginaw Bay, and it's called the Corian Reef. It's about 12 miles offshore of Essexville, perhaps, is probably the best way geographically to identify it. It's about the size of 2 football fields. It's about 5 or 6 feet high, but it's a big square pile of rock, and it's a major research project. Partners from Michigan State, the DNR, Purdue are all out there looking at how well this reef is working in terms of building some resiliency. We want to have fish spawn out in the Saginaw Bay. Right now, the DNR estimates that somewhere over 80% of the walleye that are in Saginaw Bay spawn in the Tittabawassee River, which is great because the Tittabawassee River is a great river for spawning. But occasionally we have environmental issues on the Tittabawassee River, like we had a poorly timed dam failures, a series of dam failures a couple of years ago that. Something like that could wipe out an entire year class of walleye if sediment comes down the stream and covers up the eggs. And so what we're trying to build by removing dams and providing a reef on the bay is, more resiliency in the system. So we have fish that spawn in different areas. So if something does happen in one spot, it's not going to impact the population for the entire Saginaw Bay system.
So I assume that reef is built outside of the channel.
Right. Yeah. Far outside of the channel. We didn't want to impact any recreational or commercial boating. And it's been a great project. We're seeing some very early success. Walleye are spawning on it. Perch are spawning on it. And whitefish are spawning on it. And whitefish, remain to be one of the important commercial species in Saginaw Bay that are commercially fished. And so we're glad to see it working. It's a research project. We anticipate that more will be built based on the results of this project. But it's been a fun project to see. And largely the money that came for this was money from the EPA that was left over from one of their grant programs, and a few of us were able to crack the door open at the EPA, and we said, hey, rather than send those dollars out to a project in California or Florida, why don't we bring some of those federal dollars here and do something good for Saginaw Bay? And the folks at the EPA agreed, and they thought we had a good project.
And didn't we get increased funding for the Great Lakes this year?
Yeah, the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, which has been a great project across the Great Lakes for more than a decade, did get increased funding this year. It had been hovering around $350 million, and now I believe it's $500 million a year. And those dollars are largely going to cleaning up toxic hotspots, sites that have been the location of legacy pollution issues. It's been an amazingly successful program. A lot of those dollars have been used on projects here in Saginaw Bay. In fact, the reef used some of those GLRI funding to get it off the ground as well.
Can you hang on for another segment?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a break, come back. We're talking to Michael Kelly, and we will be back to talk more about Saginaw Bay.
Virginia, Kansas, Berkeley, Ventura, San Francisco, San Diego, Oakland, and Grand Junction, Little Rock, Springfield, Maryland, and Washington. Paul Young has been everywhere, man. But he hasn't spent a lot of time in Michigan. Paul Young has been away from Michigan for nearly 40 years, living in California and all around the country for decades. Now he's spending over $1 million of his fortune to buy a congressional seat here in mid-Michigan. Paul Young has an agenda in Congress, and it's not ours. Young's agenda would give tax breaks to millionaires like himself while raising taxes on the middle class and putting Medicare and Social Security at risk. And Young is on the side of wealthy drug companies against lower prescription prices for families and seniors. Paul Young is not from here, and he's definitely not for us. PAC, the HouseMajorityPAC.com, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This fall, world record corn and soybean growers David Hula and Randy Dowdy invite you to join their Total Acre program. Dowdy and Hula will teach you how to get the most out of your acres and maximize your ROI. You'll also join a community of innovative farmers and get access to our powerful software, delivering insights you can't get anywhere else. Become a student of your crops. To learn more, visit Total Acre to join the program today.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle and digging for gold every Friday in October for your chance to score up to $5,500 in cash or premium play. Hourly winners from 7 to 11 p.m. each week. And on October 28th, all the prizes turn to cash. See what you'll do. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Moments like seeing my son's team cheer him on mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout. Here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 6.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 6.99% APR and include a 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Art Lewis here for WSGW, inviting you to explore America's last frontier, Alaska, from August 30th to September 10th, 2023. You'll fly from Detroit to Fairbanks for the start of a 12-day land and sea adventure. Ride the stern wheel of discovery as you learn about Alaska's diverse culture and rich history. Then it's on to Denali National Park for a tundra wilderness tour. From Denali, you'll ride a luxury dome rail car to Talkeetna and stay at the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge. The next day finds you driving to Whittier to board Holland America's New Amsterdam for a 7-night cruise. You'll see Hubbard Glacier, Glacier Bay, plus stops in Skagway, Juneau, and Ketchikan before sailing the Inside Passage to your final destination of Vancouver, BC. Past experience tells us this will sell out fast. For a brochure, send your address to me and I will forward the brochure to you. Send usgw.com. That's ARTLEWIS.com. Alaska is calling.
The WSGW Broadcasting Studios are sponsored by the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center in Midland.
All right, we're back with you talking to Michael Kelly, Director of the Great Lakes Office and Saginaw Bay Program of the Conservation Fund, about Saginaw Bay and the rivers that feed it, particularly the Saginaw River. Again, I'm going to drag something out of the back of my head that I seem to remember. Back in the, I think, 80s, there was a Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement. And as part of that, Saginaw River and Bay were both designated areas of concern. If we look from the late 80s to now, how has that changed?
Yeah, it's a good question, and you're right on, Art. That happened in the early 80s. There were 40 some odd areas around the Great Lakes that were designated as areas of concern, and you could become an area of concern by having one of 14 beneficial use impairments, they call them. So you could have toxic pollution, you could have habitat degradation, you could have issues with your fisheries or issues with wildlife, a long list of things. You only had one of them to be considered an area of concern.
Sure. How many did we have?
In Saginaw Bay, we set the record. We had 12 of 14. We were the most impacted of any of the areas of concern. We've been able to make some progress on some of those beneficial use impairments. Some of them have been dropped. We've been able to restore enough wildlife habitat so that one is dropped. There was also one that talked about taste and odor issues related to fish, people that were eating fish,
Really?
and that's been dropped. And you'll hear people talk about the Saginaw Bay fishery and some of the pollution issues that did impact the way fish tasted, and we've been able to get past that. So we've been able to drop, I believe, 4 of the beneficial use impairments, but it still shows us that we have a long way to go. The Great Lakes Restoration Initiative that you mentioned earlier has provided a lot of focus on those. And in places like Kalamazoo and some of the other places around the Great Lakes, some of them have been completely delisted. The beauty of those, of course, is that they only had maybe 1 or 2 that they had to delist. We have a long ways to go to get ourselves off that list. We do have some significant legacy pollution issues that we haven't quite gotten our hands around yet. But everything that's been good in terms of environmental restoration around Saginaw Bay has been the work of a great team of partners, whether it's the federal government, the Fish and Wildlife Service, the DNR, local land conservancies, nonprofits. It's one area, I think, environmental restoration that everybody here can agree on, because we know that our economy here, and particularly our $30 million annual recreational fishery out on Saginaw Bay, is tied to the environmental restoration and the environmental conditions of our water system. And so I think everybody's been able to rally behind the entire restoration effort.
Is the Sturgeon Restoration Project an example of that partnership type mentality?
Yeah, it absolutely is. This project would not have happened with 1 or 2 groups. Michigan State University has been a key player there. Sturgeon for Tomorrow up in Onaway, Indian River area has been key. The Fish and Wildlife Service, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, and their great fisheries folks. Bay County has been key. Just a list that's very, very long, and a list of folks that have been very engaged because we want to see these great things happen.
So let's talk about a couple of more specific issues. Sea lampreys, they were a big problem for a long time. Are they still a problem?
They're still a problem. Luckily, there have been treatments for them. Some streams are treated for them, chemically treated for them. It's a chemical that harms juvenile or baby lamprey, doesn't harm the fishery in the river. Lamprey are treated up on the Chippewa River, up near Mount Pleasant, which has some of the best spawning for fish and lamprey in the entire Great Lakes. But yeah, there's still an issue. And that was something that we looked at in terms of dam removal. So if we remove dams, are we now providing additional access for lamprey to come into the watershed? And the answer is yes. Any dam you remove, any impediment to fish or lamprey that you remove allows access to everything, right? If you're going to allow access to sturgeon, you're also going to allow access to lamprey. But the folks that sat around the table made, I think, an important decision that it was more important to attempt to return our native species to the system than it was to be concerned about lamprey coming up in the system. We can treat lamprey. It's expensive and it's time consuming, but they tend to be a little bit self-limiting. And so that decision was made, and we've moved forward with it. And I think that we haven't seen a lot of additional lamprey activity in the river systems, but it's something that folks are monitoring.
All right, I got to take another break here. I'm going to drag you through one more segment,
sure.
And we'll talk more with Michael when we return here on the Art Lewis Show.
BASF knows your field holds big potential. So when you want to invest in the future, we're ready to be the partner that can help get you further. We put new tools and technologies in your hand so you can grow more, demand more. And with the BASF financing program, it's easier than ever to expand your operation with better terms and less requirements for investing. Learn more at BASF-grower-finance.com, helping you do the biggest job on earth. Always read and follow label directions.
How did hiring the right person become so difficult? Well, it doesn't have to be. Alpha Digital already has targeted databases built to very qualified candidates that are just looking for the right opportunity. That allows you to target exactly who you're trying to reach with a budget that is customized just for you. Learn about all the possibilities by going to alpha.com today. Find your next star employee with alphamediadigital.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney, swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm Rocky Moselle with StarRegistry.com. Since we were children, we've been told to reach for the stars. It was great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star after someone. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333. We will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333, or visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain-relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of medications.
For pain, I use Salon Paws. It's good medicine.
Trying to find when and where you can hear the Tigers, Red Wings, Michigan football and basketball, Saginaw Spirit hockey, and SBSU football on WSGW? Just click on the sports broadcast box on WSGW.com for complete game time listings. That's WSGW.com.
And we're back with you talking to Michael Kelly, Director of the Great Lakes Office, Saginaw Bay Program of the Conservation Fund. We have a caller, Greg in Bangor Township, wants to converse with us this morning. Greg, good morning. You're on with Michael.
Good morning, Art.
Morning.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
I have a question that has gone unanswered for a long time. I'm trying to get clarification. As nutrients are still a problem going into the bay, how come we don't use filter strips around the bay like they do other places?
Yeah, that's a good question. Filter strips are used with some regularity along the river systems leading into Saginaw Bay. It's more of a private property issue than anything else. You have some farms that will use these filter strips, and by filter strips, kind of writ large, what we mean is an area of planting maybe 30 feet from the river's edge that catches and filters nutrients as they enter the river system. Some farms use them, some they don't. Along Saginaw Bay, I think that the issues of landowners around the Saginaw Bay and nutrients coming to Saginaw Bay from the shoreline around the bay is probably less an issue as it is up in the watershed. One thing you also have to keep in mind too, in terms of filter strips do a great job of catching nutrients as they come off the fields during a rainstorm. The challenge that we currently have also are the amount of tiling that we have in fields. And so you have a lot of nutrients that filter through the soil, and not as many as certainly there used to be. The farmers don't want to use any more nutrients than they have to because that means money, but you do have nutrients that filter through the soil, enter the tiling system, and then are ejected directly underneath filter strips into the river. So it's a complicated issue in Minnesota. There was a program there. It was a farmland restoration issue, and farms were required to put in filter strips, and that seems to be a successful model. Michigan hasn't gone that direction yet, but it does work. We'd certainly like to see more of it on the river systems that come into Saginaw Bay.
Part of it probably, I would think, for the farmer is that land comes out of production then.
Right, absolutely. And what we found too is, filter strips sometimes go in, corn prices increase, and then sometimes a landowner might want to plant corn where that filter strip is, and so they go in and perhaps put that under the plow again. So it's certainly not a magic bullet, but it does help, no doubt about it.
Well, I've noticed, I traveled around the country, and one of the places, I think I've mentioned this before when I've talked to WSGW, that over the Belmar Peninsula, inundated with filter strips, and the farmers are reimbursed on a federal program for their land that they don't have in production. I mean, we could do the same thing here.
Yeah, largely that's how it's done. There are programs here that exist through the Natural Resource Conservation Service, through the USDA, that actually will subsidize farms for the development and planting of these filter strips, usually under a 10 or a 15-year contract. One of the challenges that we have in Michigan is that those programs don't provide a permanent subsidy for those filter strips. So often sometimes those projects will occur for a few years and then they're gone. It's not a perfect system. It's something that we need to do some more work on.
All right, Greg, great call. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now. A couple of more questions before I let you go here, Michael. We've talked about other fish in the Saginaw Bay, but we haven't mentioned the most delicious of all, the perch.
Perch.
How are perch doing?
Yeah, perch are kind of holding their own right now. It's a bit of a challenge. So one of the reasons I mentioned that walleye season is going to be open on the Saginaw River next year round is to reduce the population of walleye. Walleye, I think, have borne the brunt of some blame for the low perch populations. Walleye do eat perch. but lots of other species eat perch as well. We have the state. When I grew up on the Caucalan River. We could catch 100 perch a day, which we did some days, and then probably 30 years ago it was dropped down to 50 perch a day. Now it's 25 perch a day. So I think the recreational anglers are doing their part to help rebuild that population. One of the challenges that we have right now is that there are still some commercial enterprises fishing perch on Saginaw Bay. And there's no limit. The only limit on commercial fisheries right now in Saginaw Bay is that all perch have to be 8 inches or larger, but they can take as many as they want. And so between, I think, the commercial fisheries, we have to remember cormorants are out there too, and cormorants are a bird that with a voracious appetite that they like to eat anything they can put their beak on. And they'll eat perch as well. And perch tend to want to spawn in wetland areas along the shore. And that's why you hear about people catching perch in ditches out by Quantico, because these perch want to go inland and spawn. And so there they run into to pike and other predators and herons and everything else. So the being a perch in Saginaw Bay is not a fun existence right now, but I think that the population is tending to hold its own. We've had a couple of spectacular falls for perch fishing on Saginaw Bay, and I think reducing commercial pressure, continuing with a 25 perch limit for recreational anglers, and perhaps removing some walleye for the system, I think should bode well for perch.
Well, Michael, look, thanks for spending all the time with us this morning, and let's not wait 2 years to do it again.
Right on. Thank you, Art. And I wouldn't be a good Spartan this week if I didn't close by saying go green, right?
No comment. We'll leave it right there.
Fingers crossed for Saturday night.
I went to a school in Missouri. I didn't go to either Michigan school, so I don't care.
We'll convert you to a Spartan fan at some point here.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Michael.
Thank you, Art.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Michael Kelly from the Conservation Fund. We thank him for joining us. Let me ask about 401k. You know, a 401k can be an important asset for many American retirements. You make contributions to your 401k every single paycheck for years and even decades. Its tax advantages and portability may enable workers to build sizable and important nest eggs. But its flexibility can also be costly if you aren't aware of potential mistakes. Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a guide that will teach you how to avoid an IRS early distribution penalty and full taxation on rollovers. The little-known weapon you can use, your most mistake-proof option, and more. Request your guide today at 989-835-7203 or visit GreatLakesInvestmentAdvisors.com. This commercial shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topic should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
Kristen McDonald Rivet's allies were caught red-handed lying about Annette Glenn. The facts? A Michigan news outlet reported, quote, a TV station took the rare move of removing an ad attacking Miss Glenn because the ad was proven to be false. The truth? Big spending politicians created record inflation and cratered our economy. Michigan families pay the price. Radical reports the Biden-Pelosi trillion-dollar spending bill that would crush Michigan families, making inflation so much worse. And she voted to give herself a taxpayer-funded pay raise while voting to raise taxes on us. Soaring inflation, rampant spending, a destroyed economy. They spend, you pay. The Biden-Pelosi Rivet way. Kristen McDonald Rivet, radical and wrong for Michigan. Paid for with regulated funds by the Senate Republican Campaign Committee. Authorized by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Hi, this is Mike Avery, and here's what's coming up this week on Outdoor Magazine. First, Dean Sportsman Against Hunger, then Ted Harpham of Darton Archery, and Nick Buja of the Michigan Wildlife Council. In hour number 2, it's Michigan's meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the weather outlook for the firearm deer season, plus Chad Stewart of the DNR. And in our third hour, we're talking fishing with Mark Romanak of Fishing 411. Listen Saturday mornings at 6 and Sundays at 9 on WSGW.
All right, that wraps it up for this hour. Open phones for the next hour right through 11:30, right after the news.
From the Premier Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Dow is soaring, up 303 points right now after this morning's report from the Commerce Department on the gross domestic product. Despite rising inflation and interest rates, the GDP grew at a better than expected 2.6% pace in the third quarter. New York Times economy reporter Jenna Smilek.
When you look at this GDP number, it's pretty good news. Exclusively that after 2 straight quarters of declines in real GDP, we're not in a recession. The economy is clearly growing.
But many analysts say recession still looms. President Biden says the new GDP numbers are evidence recovery continues to power forward. Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman says the threat of a nuclear conflict is rising amid the fighting in Ukraine, thanks to U.S. support on the battlefield. CBS's Holly Williams is in Kyiv, where she spoke to an American volunteer with a disturbing story to tell.
You could hear people fighting to the death with their bare hands.
He repeatedly witnessed Russian forces using white phosphorus munitions.
Everything it touches just incinerates.
Including this incident.
Probably about 20 or 30 guys burning alive.
Georgia's Republican Senate candidate denying a second claim he paid for a woman to have an abortion. This one in the early 1990s when he was married to another woman. He tells Fox.
That's a lie, and I've said that's a people can see right now that Raphael Warnock and the left would do whatever they can to win this seat back.
The Democratic candidate in the heated race for governor in Arizona reports her office was broken into. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
Katie Hobbs, who faces Republican Kari Lake, released a statement that says in part, she and her staff have faced hundreds of death threats and threats of violence during the campaign. While the Arizona Democratic Party statement calls the break-in a direct result of Kari Lake and fringe Republicans spreading lies and hate and inciting violence. Lake denounced those statements.
I can't believe that she would blame my amazing people, blame me for something like that. I don't even know where her campaign office is. I'm assuming it's in a basement somewhere.
Elon Musk faces a court-ordered deadline of tomorrow to close his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. He's just tweeted he's doing it to help humanity and won't let the platform become a, quote, free-for-all hellscape. Another masterpiece targeted by climate. Dutch police say they've arrested 2 people who glued themselves to Vermeer's famous painting Girl with a Pearl Earring that inspired the movie. A third person also arrested for throwing what looked like a can of tomatoes at the oil. It was protected by glass. This is CBS News.
You need to hire? Indeed is with you every step of the way, helping you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Where are you getting your fertilizer this year? Just about anywhere you look, it's going to cost more. And you may even find it's harder to get when you need it. It sure would be nice to have a better source of crop nutrients. Believe it or not, you do. It's your soil. Source from Sound Agriculture unlocks more of the nutrients already in your fields, so you can add less fertilizer while getting the yield you're counting on. It's such a solid backup plan, you'll probably find yourself wondering why Source wasn't the plan all along. Visit sound.ag to learn more.
It's to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn.
Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 36 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Burcha. Needy families in the Great Lakes Bay region may get some food relief thanks to a new program started by Wildfire Credit Union. In partnership with Hidden Harvest, Holiday Harvest will provide a week's worth of food to those in need. Wildfire Chief Marketing Officer Linda McGee explains.
We've got 1,000 bags that we have packed, and we're going to have them available in all of our branches. And for the purchase of $10, anyone can come in and purchase the bag. We will then make sure that it gets to the pantry, and then the pantries have the ability to add fresh items to it as well.
Holiday Harvest starts November 1st at all Wildfire Credit Union branches. Police in Ogama County are investigating a fatal crash involving a 17-year-old on Sunday. Police say the teen was riding a Polaris four-wheeler around 12:50 p.m. on Rowell Road near Stillwell. The ORV left the roadway and crashed into a tree, throwing the victim from the vehicle. He was later pronounced dead. Police say alcohol does not appear to be factors in the crash. The Historical Society of Michigan has announced its 2023 conference schedule. The first of the three annual events, the 65th Michigan in Perspective Local History Conference, is set for March 24th to 25th at the Novi Suburban Collection Showplace. After that, the 74th Upper Peninsula History Conference will be held at June 23rd to 25th in Iron Mountain. And next September 24th and 25th, Roscommon will host the 149th Annual Meeting History Conference. Each of these three events will feature keynote speakers, tours, and exhibit hall highlighting local and state history. Details on each conference can be found at hsmichigan.org/learn. WSGW News Time 10:07.
Please join us at the Delta College Foundation's A Chocolate Affair, taking place Thursday, November 3rd at Horizons Conference Center in Saginaw. By attending A Chocolate Affair, you're supporting Delta's Possible Dream program to help area youth stay focused on their studies and achieve their dreams of attending college. Visit delta.edu/chocolate affair or call 989-684 to purchase tickets. See you at Horizons Conference Center November 3rd for A Chocolate Affair.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
WSGW News Time 10:08. The weather forecast. A preliminary exam will be held this morning for the former Grand Rapids police officer who shot and killed motorist Patrick Leoya in April after a chase. A judge will determine if there's enough evidence to send former officer Chris Schur to trial for murder. Schur had pulled Leoya over and a struggle ensued, with Leoya grabbing Schur's taser. Schur was on top of the victim and shot him in the back of the head. His attorneys argue that his use of deadly force was justified. The Michigan Department of Treasury is warning taxpayers of a recent scam. Here's MNN's Brooke Allen.
Received scam-like letters regarding an overdue tax bill asking them to contact a toll-free number in order to resolve state tax debt. The letter is threatening to seize property, including bank accounts, wages, cars, refunds. The Treasury says the letter looks credible because it uses personal facts, but it is indeed a criminal attempt to take money. The Treasury Department says letters with the state of Michigan letterhead and names of the governor and state treasurer, they are always sent through the U.S. Postal Service. Those who believe to have received a letter can contact the Treasury's Collection Services Center. Brooke Allen for the Michigan News Network.
The township supervisor in Southwest Michigan is facing rape charges. The Attorney General's Kenneth Lynn of Three Rivers who is the Fabius Township supervisor, faces 4 counts of criminal sexual conduct. Investigators say the alleged rape took place following a golf outing in 2010. Lynn is suspected of sexually assaulting the victim, who was helpless due to being drunk and unable to give consent. The victim went to the hospital the following day, but the sex assault kit was not submitted to state police until 2014. The case was re-examined as part of the statewide sexual assault kit testing initiative last year. Lynn is expected back in court next week. WSGW News Time 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the lower 50s. Winds will be light and variable. Then for tonight, partly cloudy sky conditions with a low around 34. Friday, sunshine, high of 58 degrees. And on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, high around 61. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, high around 61. And on Monday, a chance for some rain showers here, cloudy skies, high of 58. Tuesday, sunshine, high around 63 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 35.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. This is an open phone hour right up to 11. Actually go to 11:30 today because of no focus guest. 989-752-6111 is the number to call, and that'll put you in touch with us, whatever's on your mind this morning. And we have a caller waiting already, so we might as well get started. We say good morning to Dr. D, back with us again. Good morning.
Hey, Art, thanks for taking my phone call.
Sure.
This is just in response to a call you had last week. The fellow's name was Sean, and for COVID. He stated that he knows how to read. He knows just as much as any doctor does because he can read too. But right now in Michigan, the weekly death rate has been going up from COVID. You've probably seen that. Right now we're averaging about 180 a week now. About 2,500, are being hospitalized. The big thing about COVID right now is that we're worried about the flu with COVID at the same time. Both of them are going to cause lung congestion, and it's going to be a double whammy if you get the flu on top of COVID. Young people are dying just as fast with COVID too, because he made a statement that he's young, he's healthy. I've seen people that are 38 years old, 40 years old, both died, and the brother that was 36 pulled out and survived. 3 brothers,
Yeah, let me ask
young, healthy people die. Go ahead.
Let me ask a question, Doctor. What's the efficacy of the vaccine?
This new, because this isn't going to totally prevent the disease, but the thing is, the symptoms that you're going to have, you may not even know you have it. It's going to be such a lesser effect, on your body.
Yeah.
You may not have to be on a ventilator for weeks or die from it.
So it mitigates
the symptoms.
The symptoms, okay.
Yeah, the severity of the symptoms. 78% of the people that died in Michigan last week were never ever vaccinated.
Yeah.
13% of them weren't keeping up with any of the recent boosters, and about 7% died from some other comorbidity like obesity, diabetes, or heart problems. So even if you have a level of heart problems, it's possible you're going to succumb to the disease, but not like it was prior to all these vaccines. When these vaccines first started coming out last year.
And is there any issue? I had this done, so I'm hoping there's no issue. I had my flu shot and my second booster at the exact same time. Is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem at all. You might get a higher fever than usual.
I didn't get anything.
Yeah, so the biggest complaint is fever. A lot of people get a fever about 12, but when you get a fever, that's a good sign. because that's a sign that your immune system is kicking in already. Okay. The other thing too, I don't know if you saw the article in the Wall Street Journal about some of these insurance companies now. If you come down with COVID, you need to be hospitalized for 3-4 weeks.
Yes.
You get a bill now for $500,000. They don't want to pay the hospital bills.
Yeah.
Because it could have been prevented by a free vaccine.
Yeah. Pushing the issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Anyways, hey, can I make a non-political plug for a candidate?
No.
No.
How can it be non-political if it's a candidate?
She's a judge. She's not.
I tell you what. No, I can't. And I'll tell you why. Because once we do that, we have to make that available to everybody. We're in what's called a political window right now, and there's a whole bunch of equality rules that come along. And if I allow one person to start that, everybody's going to jump right in. And so we're going to have to pass on that. I understand what you'd like to do, but we're going to have to pass on it. One of the reasons I refrained from.
I went to that open forum where you meet all the candidates.
Yeah, that's good. Then you should. That's great. All right.
And it was really fantastic because when you have one candidate come and they need somebody to speak for them, you know what I'm saying? You're like, why are they running for office? They're running for a judgeship.
All right. Good enough.
Take care. Thanks,
Doc. Take care. Bye-bye now. And we'll continue on. Carl is in Saginaw. Carl, good morning to you. Hello, Carl.
Yes, good morning, Art.
Morning.
Halloween in Saginaw, and that means arson watch time.
Yes.
And so arson watch is gonna be out Sunday night and Monday night. We're asking residents to turn on your porch lights, especially Sunday night. And I believe they're also looking for volunteers still to drive around and, put up a presence in the city. And you'll have to check. It might be Arson Watch on Facebook, might be the best way if you're interested in volunteering.
Yes, I have a fear. Let me explain my fear. The Saginaw Fire Department looks forward to me riding along every year because when I'm there, nothing happens. I don't think I can be there.
Good luck charm.
I don't think I can be there this year. I know I can't. Right, I know I can't ride along on. I can't ride along on Devil's Night because I have a conflict, and the Monday Halloween itself may be problematic. I still have to talk about that. I still have to see if I can do that one or not. So, but I tell you what, I have the greatest respect for the Saginaw Fire Department and all firefighters in our area. I did it for years back in New Jersey, back in the 60s and 70s. And it's a tough job, and they keep the community safe, and they do excellent work, and they're highly trained. And hats off to all the Arson Watch people. You guys have made a difference. I'm convinced that you've made a difference. Absolutely.
It also helps there are fewer vacant buildings now.
True.
So,
true.
That I think that's made a difference. But yeah, the number of arsons has gone way down. Hey, Art, real quickly, yesterday you were talking about Michigan schools and talking about how Michigan teachers are one of the highest paid. Yet Michigan ranks at the bottom of the list.
When I moved here, when I moved here, now that goes back. 74 somewhere in that area.
Okay, well, if you check today, Michigan is not ranked.
Yeah, today. But I said in the beginning when I said that, I said when I moved here.
Okay, all right. Well, all right, then fine.
All right.
So it's just today, Michigan schools today are about in the middle of all the states.
Yeah. Well, no, I knew that. I knew that. I was relating it to the fact that money doesn't always guarantee success.
Yeah, but you always say the police need more money. That always seems to be the answer for law enforcement is more money if they're not doing well, they need more money.
Well, yeah, but see, there's a difference. There's a difference. No, there's a difference. There's a difference in this. When we say more money for police, we're talking about more police. Many times when education talks about more money for education, it's simply salaries of those currently employed. Now, if you told me more money for education because you were going to put twice as many teachers in the schools and cut the class size to half, you and I would probably have an agreement. So it's the same thing with police.
Teachers to take a heck of a pay cut too,
No.
Would you ask?
No, I'm not asking. Listen, I'm not asking police. I'm not asking police to take a pay cut. I want more police. I want more money to fund police. Well, I want more money to fund education if I have more teachers.
Well, if police took a pay cut, we could hire more police, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could, but I'm not asking for that. They don't deserve a pay cut, nor do teachers. You're trying to make an argument where there's no argument. You're making an argument where there's no argument. I didn't say I wanted to cut salaries. No, I never said I wanted to cut teachers' salaries.
How are you going to pay for twice as many teachers?
Probably reallocate some of the wasted money government spends.
Well, okay.
But I mean, it's a wish. It's certainly not happening. It's just a wish. And it's a good wish.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
well,
maybe I'll see you this weekend. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, Art.
Bye-bye, Carl. Yes, indeed. Let me ask how your sleep was last night. Because today we are asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed and theoretically, you spend a third of your life there, right? I mean, that's how much time you're supposed to spend, 8 hours a day, right? Well, you really need quality sleep, and you can get that quality sleep with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your dollars are spent and they stay right here in our local economy. Your time in bed can, be cut short by today's demanding world, but don't be fooled. You can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. And by the way, if you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress to your exact size, something the big box stores can't do. And they also have a 1-hour delivery window of your mattress to your home, so you don't have to wait around all day for them. Sanitary Mattress, factory and showroom, serving this area since 1935. Set your GPS to 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them on the web at sanitarymattress.com or give them a call at 989-753-1757.
Kristen McDonald Rivet's allies were caught red-handed lying about Annette Glenn. The facts? A Michigan news outlet reported, quote, a TV station took the rare move of removing an ad attacking Miss Glenn because the ad was proven to be false. The truth? Big spending politicians created record inflation and cratered our economy. Michigan families pay the price. Radical Kristen McDonald Rivet supports the Biden-Pelosi $1 trillion spending bill that would crush Michigan families, making inflation so much worse. To give herself a taxpayer-funded pay raise while voting to raise taxes on us. Soaring inflation, rampant spending, a destroyed economy. They spend, you pay. The Biden-Pelosi Rivet way. Kristen McDonald Rivet, radical and wrong for Michigan. Paid for with regulated funds by the Senate Republican Campaign Committee. Authorized by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street opened higher. The broader market is overlooking a disappointing earnings report from Meta Platforms, the NASDAQ. higher. The gross domestic product showed an improvement in the summer quarter. The overall reading on the U.S. economy rose 2.6% after declining in the first half of the year, though other readings in the GDP continue to show weakness. Earnings news out this morning is mostly upbeat. McDonald's reported a better than expected quarter, even though it raised prices. Southwest Airlines quarter top predictions. It's now flying more passengers than before the pandemic. Construction and farm equipment giant Caterpillar's quarter was stronger than forecast, though Keurig Dr. Pepper shares are losing ground. It says inflation cut into its business. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosolda, invested in you.
Democrats predicted an end to high inflation, but nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings from inflation by diversifying into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word SHELTER to 989898, and you'll get a free info kit on gold IRAs that will explain everything. Again, that's SHELTER to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk. I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
This is a test. WSGW is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency alert system on WSGW. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. WSGW serves Saginaw, Bay, and Midland counties, along with the surrounding area. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system on WSGW. The WSGW Morning Team.
WSW online poll for statewide ballot proposal 2, with the election day again being November 8th. This is a statewide proposal focused on voting. Among the listings on your ballot, you will see that include recognizing fundamental rights to vote without harassing conduct, to require military or overseas ballots to be counted if postmarked by election day, to provide voter rights to verify identity with photo ID or signed statement, early in-person voting, require canvass boards to certify election results based only on the official records of votes cast, and there are a couple more too. But the proposal itself reads this way: a proposal to amend the state constitution to add provisions regarding elections, which may seem kind of vague. It almost seems
a little bit more explanation.
Yeah. Anyway, but we present it because this is the way you're going to face it on your ballot. So the poll question: should proposal 2 be adopted? Yes or no? You head to WSW.com. You can scroll down the homepage. You'll find the poll box, and you can make your vote that way.
The Morning Team, weekdays 5:30 till 9 on WSGW.
And we return here on the Art Lewis Show. Back to our phones. Paul is in Saginaw. Good morning, Paul.
Art, I'm going to give you a different spin on the conversation you had with your previous caller. In today's local newspaper, it reported had 93 shootings in Saginaw. Now, that's one shooting every 4 days. And most of those shootings are between people who know each other. Now, that tells me they haven't been taught any self-control nor any spiritual or moral values by their parents, schools, and churches. So here's my point. If the teachers we have in these schools today would teach these kids some spiritual and moral values,
no,
we wouldn't need more teachers. We wouldn't need more police. We wouldn't need to spend more money on teachers and police. That's what the point is.
Well,
And it
here's the
isn't being
problem.
done.
It's not the role of a public school to teach spiritual. If you go to a private school, a parochial school, yeah, all right, you go there for that reason. But I don't believe that should be the role of the teacher. First of all, whose spiritual teachings are they going to teach?
Well, they should at least teach some moral and civic values. We used to
Civic
have a
values,
civic
yeah.
class.
Well, I agree with that. But those lessons come with history and everything else.
Right.
I'm just saying
the
that
basic values is thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt whatever.
yeah, well,
And,
those values have been around for centuries, of course.
Yeah, but those values aren't being taught. These kids are getting their values from the street, the TV, the movies.
Whose fault's that?
The music, and they're all negative. They're all negative behavior values.
Whose fault is that?
They're not positive.
Whose fault is that?
The government.
No,
There's
it's not.
Censorship.
No.
There's no censorship of any kind.
Yeah, well, there shouldn't be, but that's not the fault. Fault is with the parents, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Who taught you your values? Did you go to school to learn your values, or did your parents teach you your values?
I learned my values are from all three. When the parents didn't do it, I got it in the school. When the school didn't do it, I got it at the church. Today, nobody's doing it.
Well, that's a big brush. That's not true. In some cases, nobody's doing it, but there's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of churches. There's a lot of parochial schools. There are a lot of good parents. You can't take a brush and paint everybody with it.
Well, my point is, if the schools would start teaching some kind of moral values, you wouldn't have to spend more money on teachers or police. And
all right.
That's why we're at this point where we are right now. That's my point.
All right,
So,
that's your view.
all right. That's all I got.
Good enough, Paul. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Later.
And next up, Scott in Saginaw. Scott, good morning.
Hey, Art. Usually I agree with Paul there, but I agree with you on this, that reading, writing, and arithmetic is for the school. Parents are supposed to teach the morals. That,
amen.
As far as I'm concerned, the parents should have to help with the homework if they want the child to succeed.
Yeah.
I know parents are busy, so I'm not bashing anybody. But off that, Carl said, where are you going to get the money for more police and more teachers? Well, we already know that the wall has been paid for, but this administration is choosing not to put it up. So it's costing U.S. taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars a year to support these people. Even New York has put up tent cities where they keep it a nice 70 degrees inside of it. They get 3 hot meals a day. They have big screen TV, video games, fluff and fold laundry, gourmet coffee.
Think we ought to take some of that money, huh? Think we should take some of that money, huh?
No, we should take all that money, Art, and support our own people first. We have problems going on in our schools because of our own citizens. We need to America first, Art.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel sorry for these other people, but we need to protect our children, our teachers, our police officers, our elected officials first and foremost.
Bob?
So that's where I would say, Carl, we need to get our money by protecting us first.
Yeah. No argument.
Okay, I'll let it go at that.
All right, Scott. Have a good one.
All right, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now. And that opens the lines for you. 989-752-6111. Listen, listen, I'm an old school product. When I went to school, my parents were involved. My mother was probably in the school as much as I was. She was active in the Parent Teachers Association, the PTA, and took an interest in my education and made sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And many parents do that today. And then there are those that don't. Part of that problem, as I see it, and this is just my opinion looking back, I think it starts in the 60s. That's the decade that I believe we began to slide. And decade after decade after decade, young parents weren't teaching their children how to be parents. And consequently, when they became parents, they didn't have all the tools to teach their children how to be parents. And generationally, it has slid. Now, again, I do not want to take a big paintbrush and paint that across everybody, because we all know there's lots of wonderful parents out there and lots of wonderful young people out there, too, that all have had proper upbringings. And this goes across all racial, ethnic, religious lines, you name it. It's true of all sectors of society. And there are also those who have not had the benefit of that kind of upbringing. They have not taught their children how to be parents. Consequently, they have no reference for the next generation. And I think it's been a slippery slope. And I think it's evident today in the outcomes. Anyway, take a quick break here. Let me talk about Krizak's House Family Restaurant, proud to be a business that serves the area with the finest in dining and takeout services, and grateful for all of you who have supported them over the years. They look forward to serving you all. Every day is takeout day at Krizak's from 11 to 7 today, tomorrow and Saturday, 11 to 8. Krizak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side. For takeouts, for reservations, for parties, for events in the restaurant, call 894-5531. That's 989-894-5531.
Do you have Medicare questions? Confused by all those TV ads? What's best for you? There are options available to you now through December 7th that you didn't have before. Did you know that now you can have up to $3,000 of dental coverage at no cost? Sound too good to be true? Talk to the folks at Medicare Choices in Saginaw today and find out that it is true and available right now. Talk to Medicare Choices. Call 989-899-7820. Medicare Choices of Saginaw. Again, 989-899-7820. It'll be the best call you ever made.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Virginia, Kansas, Berkeley, Ventura, San Francisco, San Diego, Oakland, and Grand Junction, Little Rock, Springfield, Maryland, and Washington. Paul Young has been everywhere, man. But he hasn't spent a lot of time in Michigan. Paul Young has been away from Michigan for nearly 40 years, living in California and all around the country for decades. Now he's spending over $1 million of his fortune to buy a congressional seat here in mid-Michigan. Paul Young has an agenda in Congress, and it's not ours. Young's agenda would give tax breaks to millionaires like himself while raising taxes on the middle class and putting Medicare and Social Security at risk. And Young is on the side of wealthy drug companies against lower prescription prices for families and seniors. Paul Young is not from here, and he's definitely not for us. Paid for by House Majority PAC, theHouseMajorityPAC.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Where can you holiday shop for anything you want, any way you want? Lowe's, actually. From the top tools to the top tech, find deals from all the top brands. Like a Craftsman 20-volt 2-tool combo kit. Was $149, now only $99. Then save time with more convenient ways to shop. Check back daily for deals during Black Friday month and start saving now at Lowe's. Home to any possibility. Offer valid through 11/2 while supplies last.
Take a moment to talk to you about the annual WSGW Food for Families campaign presented by Pioneer Sugar. It is now underway for this year. We're asking you, our loyal family of radio listeners, to make non-perishable food donations to help those in need. The Salvation Army locations in Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland will collect and distribute the food. You can make donations through Thanksgiving weekend. And I should also tell you that this year, the Eddie Band Christmas concert returns in person. We will have more details on that as we get a little bit closer. But here are the Food for Families donation locations: Crane's L&M Appliance Center, Vassar Building Center, Thumb Bank, Maple Hill Nursery, Wolf Isles Ace Hardware, Michigan Sugar, Capoco Credit Union, all 3 locations, Begic Nursery, the Maytag stores, and Rhymold Printing. Those are the locations where you can drop off your non-perishable food items. We thank you for your contributions to our Food for Families campaign for 2022.
What's the best product I bought this year? Salonpas pain relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back. It's the Art Lewis Show for this Thursday morning, and Owen is in Gladwin. Owen, good morning.
Good morning. This is Owen. I never thought I would say this, but I think I'm going to vote for the governor, our governor, current governor, because I think she knows how to run the state. And her opponent, every time she was asked a question the other night, she would not give a direct answer without bashing the governor. I didn't like her lockdown. I didn't like, how she decided to put her boat in the water, before everybody else did. But I think that she'd be a better fit for Michigan right now.
Okay.
She could continue with her education plans
All
and
right.
stuff like that.
You made your choice. That's fine.
And also for proposal 2, I don't know what the real story is. I think I'd vote no on that because I don't think that we need unlimited abortions in Michigan.
That's not proposal 2.
Or proposal 3, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So I don't know. I just wanted to know your take of proposal 3, if you wanted to tell me.
I'm not in favor of it because I think it goes way too far. I think it goes to the other extreme, and for that reason, I'm not in favor of it.
I never thought I would live the day or see the day or live the day where I'm going to vote for the current governor. But
all right. Good enough.
Look,
all right, Owen. Thanks.
To the ballot, so.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one, Owen. Take care. Terry is in Edenville. Terry, good morning.
Hey, Art, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
I wanted to touch on 2 things.
Sure.
First, on the morality thing that was discussed a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Morality comes from socialization within a culture. And most of what we learn is through observation. And if we allow the schools and we say, yes, you get the 3 R's, but then after we bring up our children and then the schools start demanding that our children come to school at 3 and 4 years old, and then they start learning by reading books about me and my 2 dads or me and my 2 moms or whatever direction that is maybe different than another person's morality. You can't combat that at home other than saying, well, we don't agree that way. But when you have a whole institution supporting a line of opinion, it's hard for the family to contradict that opinion. So I think that the question about morality is a little bit thicker than just, is it a spiritual teaching or is it a secular teaching? Children learn through observation.
That's a good point.
And
children learn through observation. They learn through their parents. They learn through their teachers. They learn through their peers. And, as a parent, sometimes it's tough to combat all of that.
Yes, sir. It is. And it's difficult. But there's no right or wrong answer for that. But I think statistically, you could attach the decline of morality to when America started putting kids in school at earlier and earlier ages. All right, because you go back to, like when I went to school, you tested in at 5, but now you got kids going into preschool, K1, and so they're grabbing the kids sooner. But the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is Prop 3. And I think everybody has forgotten that the only reason there's any laws about this situation is because doctors were refusing to do the procedures. So people fought to have laws created to make them do something they did not want to do. And I personally don't think there should be any laws regarding it at all. It's a personal decision between the individual and their medical doctor and their higher power if they have one. And when it comes to all these props, if you're uncertain, vote no, because voting yes on a new law just puts another chain on you.
There you go. All right.
So,
good enough.
Thank you, Art. I appreciate you letting me come in and comment.
No problem, Terry. Anytime. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, you have a great day.
Bye-bye. Charlie's in Bay City. Let's talk to Charlie before we take a break. Charlie, good morning.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
If I may, I would like to blow the whistle on the governor of California.
Good luck.
Yeah.
What do he do now?
He claims that they passed a law banning the sale of gas-powered cars not till 2035, but actually it was voted on by an advisory board appointed by the governor. Most of the members are appointed by the governor. So it's not a real law because the legislature was not involved.
You're telling me that, well, you're telling me the legislature did not pass that law in California is what you're saying?
Right. They weren't involved. And the legislature cannot transfer their legislative power to a board like that. Was California Air Board.
I would agree with you, except that it's California, and they seem to be able to do a lot of things the rest of us wouldn't even think of.
Yeah, but there are about 17 states that are committed to following in the footsteps of things like this, and it's illegal. It's
well,
the law itself, in and of itself, is unconstitutional, but the way they passed it is unconstitutional. It's not an emergency. I don't believe in this global warming business. I think it's a scam. But they were bounding over their steps, as Lauren Hardy would say.
Well, actually, as I read it, he issued an executive order.
Yeah.
And the executive order says that all new passenger vehicles be zero emission by 2035, and additional measures to eliminate harmful emissions from the transportation sector. So now the question is, you're saying it's illegal. The question is, in California, do they grant him that power? If they do, then it's not illegal.
They don't.
Well, then how does he get away with it?
He converted it into an executive order.
Well, is that legal?
Come from the legislature? No, not.
Well, how do you know that?
Of that magnitude.
The executive orders don't come from legislators. They come from the governor or the executive in charge. He can take it from anybody he wants.
That's not a proper subject for.
Well, you don't think so, but maybe Californians do. I don't know. All I know is he issued an executive order, and apparently in California he has the right to issue executive orders.
The right or the power?
Well, the right comes with the power. Same way that the president of the United States can issue executive orders, the right to issue those executive orders comes with the power.
But that's not a proper function. That
maybe it is in California. Maybe it is in California.
No,
I mean, listen, then don't misunderstand me. I don't agree with it. Let's understand that. All I'm suggesting to you is you're saying it's illegal. Well, you don't know that. In California, it may be perfectly legal for the governor to issue that order. We may not like it, but it may be perfectly legal for him to do it.
He can mess with the economy with an executive order? I don't think so. And another
Well,
adverse effect is that what will that do for the future? Say hydrogen becomes a more viable source of power for cars.
Well,
are you then going to ban the sale of electric cars because they are actually more environmentally toxic?
Yeah, well,
consider everything.
he didn't issue
gasoline
that
cars.
kind of order. He said zero emission. That can take into account an awful lot of things. I don't agree with it. I agree with you that electric cars have their own problems in terms of the environment.
Yeah.
All I'm suggesting is that don't say it's illegal without knowing, because in California, it may be perfectly legal.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's illegal.
Well, okay, then that's fine. State it that way.
You know, and the other thing it does is retard the progress that electric cars need very badly, you know, the development of them.
It may do a lot of things that you and I disagree with. I'm just suggesting to you, you said it was illegal to do it. I'm suggesting to you in the state of California, it may not have been.
Well,
they do a lot of things in California. They do a lot of things out there we all disagree with. Not all, but a lot of us disagree with. But it's perfectly legal in California because that's the way they're structured.
I don't think so.
Well, you can think it all you like.
I don't think so. Okay. Well,
you got to convince a whole bunch of Californians that you're right.
In this business of retarding the progress of electric cars, I'd be interested in knowing what Dr. Nash might say about that. I've never talked to him about it, but I know his philosophy, and I think that he might agree that it does, subsidies and restrictions like the one in California. There's now, New York has picked up on that the same way, that retards the progress. And that may cut off any advancement in other sources of power that we don't even know about.
Well, California's got to live with their decisions. We don't.
Yeah, but they want all the states to do that.
They can want all they want.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Well,
but it's something that can, let me put it to you this way. It's certainly something to consider if Newsom runs for president.
Yeah.
So put that in your pipe.
Well, Biden wants to do the same thing nationally.
Yeah, he may want to, but I think he's going to have problems after the election.
Yeah, he has problems now.
Yeah, but right now he still has
in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. All right, good enough. Thanks,
Okay,
Charlie.
thanks,
Take care. Bye-bye now. Yeah, listen, I deal in language. It's what I do. And you have to be careful what you say, because there's a lot of things in California I don't agree with. But that's California's choice. And if they have granted the power of executive order to the governor of California and he uses it to make that kind of proclamation, that's California's problem. But there may be absolutely nothing illegal about it. Nothing whatsoever. And just remember that he or she who wins has the power. Power comes with the office, not the individual. So if the office of the governor of California has the ability to make executive orders like that, then whoever sits in that office at the time inherits that ability. We don't have to like it, but that's their problem. That's California's problem. Are other states looking to do the same thing? I'll bet there are. And it depends on the rules and laws of the state, whether the governor has the ability to make those orders. those states that are in agreement, those executives of states that are in agreement with Mr. Newsom in California, if they had that power, they'd probably do the same thing. So it is important that you vote on Election Day and offer up your voice as to who you want to lead you. Now, that does not guarantee that you win. It only guarantees that you have a voice and use that voice. It has always baffled me why in the greatest free nation on earth, with the freest elections on earth, we choose not to take part. And it's even worse in off-year elections and local elections where you have the greatest voice, yet we choose to stay home. Now, having said that, I am also not a fan of early voting. It is my opinion, just that one of the requirements, well, it's not a requirement, can't force anybody to do it, but one of the things about being an American citizen is to participate. And if you don't complain about the results. Don't tell me you don't like the person in power if you didn't vote. If you voted against the person in power, fine. You did your thing. But if you choose to abstain and stay home and not vote, don't complain about the outcome. You get what you get. Somebody else is going to decide for you. We'll be back to close out.
I'm Jacob Hilliker, Bay County Road Commissioner. I believe we deserve more local road funding for the amount of taxes we pay downstate. We all know working people in Bay County have always had to shout a little louder to be heard in Lansing. That's why I'm here. I'm a proud union member, business owner, and I operate a small farm. I don't have time for the national.
The WSGW Morning Team.
We're officially welcoming Denise into the newsroom and the morning team. Denise Shannon did have one person.
Are you ready for retirement? Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
All right, that'll do it for the first 2 hours. We're going to have a little bit of open phone time during Focus coming up. That will be right after the news here on WSGW. So we will be back with that.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by General Steel.
I'm Steve Kathan. New signs of economic growth. The government says the economy expanded at a 2.6% annual rate over the summer, following 2 straight quarters that showed declines. New York Times economic reporter Gina Smilik.
This number is almost a uniformly good news story. And the reason is, if we are seeing the economy slow down, if we're seeing the job market moderate a little bit but not really crack, that could be the kind of constellation of events that allows inflation to start to moderate without that really painful recession that we're all nervous about.
Reaction on Wall Street, strong gains for the Dow and S&P. The NASDAQ is lagging. CBS's Linda Kenyon tells us tech stocks are being hurt by one that's down more than 20%.
Meta, the parent company of Facebook, says its third quarter growth fell far short of expectations. Overall, Meta stock is % this year. It cites a slowdown in online ad spending and competition from social media platform TikTok.
Herschel Walker calls the latest abortion accusation against him a lie and foolishness, and the Republican Senate candidate from Georgia was on Fox News to blame political opponents.
They're desperate right now, and I've said this is a lie. I've moved on, and they want me to play these guessing games and all this, but I'm not.
A second woman who has not been identified publicly claims he paid for her abortion while they were having an affair during his NFL days. Walker has campaigned as an anti-abortion candidate. In Nye County, Nevada, election conspiracy theories have led Republicans to launch an unprecedented hand count of nearly 2,000 mail-in ballots that have come in already. CBS's Mossadegh Badar.
The officials here want to see if this is going to be accurate, if this is going to match up with what the machines will show.
The ACLU tried to block it, arguing results could be made public before most voters go to the polls. Overseas, a senior Russian official has warned Western satellites could be targeted by Moscow if they're being used to help Ukraine's military. Well, last month, a massive rail strike was avoided, but the tentative contract deal that kept trains rolling has now been rejected by a second major labor union. Labor expert Gregory DeYoung says if it eventually comes to a strike...
If the strike were to start sometime around Thanksgiving, at least the stores would be stocked for Christmas, so there might be enough to buy for a while for Christmas presents.
Climate activists threw something at and glued themselves near Vermeer's painting Girl with a Pearl Earring, which is behind glass at a museum in the Netherlands. No damage. 3 people arrested. Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 402 points. The NASDAQ is down 79. This is CBS News.
If you're a business owner, you can save a ton of money on a custom-designed building made by General Steel. Just call 888-STEEL and get a quote today.
Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler, host of the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. If you think you need a new roof, think again. You can avoid replacement and save thousands with RoofMax, the world's first roof rejuvenation treatment. RoofMax is a safe, easy, and affordable alternative to costly asphalt roof replacement, and it's guaranteed. So don't replace RoofMax.
RoofMax, a safe, easy, proven, affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Call Ben today at 859-6751 or go to GetRoofMax.com for a free quote.
In his last will and testament, Robert has bequeathed to his only heir and devoted caretaker 1/3 of his house, 1/3 of his truck, and 1/3 of his beloved dog, Mr. Bo here.
Excuse me, I'm a little confused.
Don't settle for a fraction of what you deserve, especially at harvest. Yield your best with Veltima fungicide's proven plant health benefits and revolutionary application flexibility.
1/3 of a dog. Right.
Get everything you deserve. From BASF, always read and follow label directions.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. Flash Radio, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 40 degrees at 11:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. Fire crews in Saginaw responded to a house fire last night around 8:20. The fire occurred in a 2-story home in the 2600 block of East Genesee. One westbound lane of the road plus a portion of Lamson Street were close to traffic while firefighters battled the blaze, which was located in the 2nd story of the home. A family of 4 living there were able to evacuate safely. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. A pickup truck collision with an Amish buggy in Isabella County landed 2 people in the hospital with serious injuries. The Isabella County Sheriff's Department responded to the crash on Wynn Road near Wing Road in Deerfield Township Tuesday. 76-year-old Blanchard man and woman in the horse-drawn buggy were transported to a local emergency room for treatment of head, neck, and internal injuries. The horse also had minor injuries. It was determined by investigators the driver of the buggy failed to yield the right-of-way and pulled out of a driveway into the path of a pickup truck. The 37-year-old driver of the truck was not injured in the crash. Traffic cones in Bay City and Saginaw will have drivers rerouted for the next several days. In Saginaw, a water main break has Weiss Street between North Mason and North Carolina Streets closed through next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Also, starting this morning, South Michigan, Bourne and Wayne Streets while crews replace water lines. In Bay City, while the road will be closed between Euclid and State Park Drive for work on the railroad tracks near Shrestha Drive, drivers are asked to follow detours and, if possible, bypass the areas where work is being done. WSGW News Time 11:07.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier and empower your retirement. They talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss.
WSGW News Time 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. General Motors says it has secured all of the renewable energy it needs to power its U.S. facilities by 2025, well ahead of its earlier projections. The Detroit automaker, which initially targeted the year 2050 to achieve all its renewable goal, said secured sourcing agreements from 16 renewable energy plants across 10 states. Early last year, GM moved up its all renewables target date to 2030, then updated that goal to 2025. The 5-year distance estimated 1 million metric tons of carbon emissions, equal to the emissions produced by burning 1 billion pounds of coal. With the big game Saturday night between U of M and MSU, the game ball is being run from Michigan State to Ann Arbor, which is 64 miles. Alex's great state race director, Michelle O'Kelly, says ROTC students will run along with students with disabilities in memory of Alex Powell.
Alex Powell was a student
at Michigan State University that utilized the services and was being treated at U of M. So he died of cancer when he was, I think, a freshman or in 2011.
O'Kelly says the race raises money and awareness for services for students with disabilities at both schools. Go to alexsgreatstaterace.org for more information. Michigan Department of Treasury is warning taxpayers of a recent scam. Michigan taxpayers have received scam-like letters regarding an overdue tax bill, asking them to contact a toll-free number in order to resolve state tax debts. The letter threatens to seize property, including bank accounts, wages, cars, and refunds. The Treasury says the letter looks credible because it uses personal facts, but it is a criminal attempt to take money. The Treasury State of Michigan letterhead and names of the governor and state treasurer. They're always sent through the U.S. Postal Service. Those who believe they have received a scam letter can contact the Treasury's Collection Service Center. WSGW News Time 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the lower 50s. Winds will be light and variable. Then for tonight, partly low around 34. Friday, sunshine, high of 58 degrees. And on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, high around 61. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, high around 61. And on Monday, a chance for some rain showers here, cloudy skies, high of 58. Tuesday, sunshine, high around 63 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 40.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the business, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online at WSGW.com.
And welcome to another version of Focus on WSGW. Sponsored by RoofMax, the safe, affordable, easy alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out more online at getroofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. That's RoofMax with 2 X's. It's kind of an extension of the Art Lewis Show. We'll have open phones for the remainder of this half hour up till about the bottom of the hour. And we have callers waiting. So Al is in Midland. We'll go there. Al, good morning.
Good morning, Arthur. Hey, first of all, thanks for taking the call, and thanks for the fellow with the history and the health of the watershed in the Saginaw Bay area and the fisheries.
Oh, Michael, yeah, he's fascinating.
Wonderful, wonderful information, and very, very good to listen to. And
glad you liked
hear
it.
that fellow more.
Glad you liked it.
We need to hear him more often.
Yep.
So, hey, to Paul's point. I go with the right and wrong rather than the religious connection so much. If we respected people's property and their right to life and their right to do their own things that are good for them and their family and stuff like that, things would be a lot better. It's just a right and wrong thing with me. It doesn't have to go to the religious area at all. And like you say, the civil rights and things like that. That way I keep the church and state separate on it, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, of course, remember that this country, its rights and wrongs, we were founded on Judeo-Christian principles.
I understand that.
So right and wrong, a lot of right and wrong came out of that. But I understand what you're saying in the separation of church and state, and I don't disagree.
Yeah, that's just... So I don't disagree with Paul, but I go about it at a slightly different angle so that I don't ruffle the feathers or rile people up and things like that. As to Carl's logic, he loses me every time he gets on there. He pulls things way out of left field that don't make any sense at all to try to justify a viewpoint, and I just don't get it. As to the governor, I thought Tudor Dixon did an excellent job. Her job is to go after the record of what that governor did and try to point out how she can do things better. And that's her job. And right now, I heard that the margin of error is split even between Tudor Dixon and Gretchen Whitmer. Either of them can win right now. So if the margin is that close, it's up in the air still. It's a coin flip.
All right. I got to go because I found out I have a guest.
For governor.
I've got to go. All right, Al. Thanks. I found out I have a guest, which I was unaware of. So we will talk to Jeff Reckwig from Dow Tennis Classic. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Dow Tennis Classic. What are the dates this year?
It starts, the qualifying actually starts this Sunday with our main draw and our Grand Slam dining starting on Tuesday evening. And I actually have with me Alex Guthrie, who's our tournament manager with Top Notch, who's helping us manage the event as well, Art.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Going well. Absolutely. Give us an overview, if you will, of how old this tournament is. It's been around quite a while, and it's grown, hasn't it?
We're one of the longest continuous running women's tennis events in the country. This will be our 34th year. And as luck, I guess, would have it, we used to be in February, hold the event in February. In 2020, we had our event in the Dow Tennis Classic in February. Then, of course, COVID came. And so we had already had the event. And then we were able to, again, have it last year under some COVID protocol, but had the full event. And not many tournaments, if any, were able to do it the way it worked out for us. So we have a tremendous history, starting with McGrath. There was a local female professional tennis running it for 34 years ago.
Yeah. All right, guys, hang on. I got to take a break. Come back. We'll talk about the girls coming in, the women playing, and tickets and all of those good things. The Dow Tennis Classic coming up.
Here's the deal. I've had constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating for years. I've tried a lot of laxatives and fiber supplements, but my symptoms keep coming back.
You could have a chronic condition called irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by Pharmaceuticals.
As a farmer, growing your business is more than just a 9-to-5. It's your life's work. That's why the Roundup Ready Extend crop system goes all in to help you stay on top, backed by decades of innovation, offering the latest trait technology and triple herbicide tolerance, plus more weed species controlled than any other soybean system. Because you mean business, and so do we. Learn more at systemofchoice.com. Claim based on approved EPA herbicide labels as of January 2021. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
I think farming picked me. I didn't pick farming. I'm not afraid to try something new. It's my farm, my family, and our future. My channel Seedsman gets that. I get access to innovative products with personalized advice backed by data to maximize my yield potential. Channel, I know I'll prosper for years to come.
Define your future at channel.com/future. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. Copyright 2022 Bayer Group. All rights reserved.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book.
I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Tired of out-of-control prices? It's the Gift Food and Craft Marketplace, brought to you by Ship Shawana on the road. Coming to the Harvey Kern Pavilion. Break and Move, October 29th and 30th. Saturday 9 to 6, Sunday 10 to 5. We pay the first 100 people to shop every day with Shipsy Bucks. Hundreds of booths and thousands of products. It's one-stop shopping, all under one roof this weekend. Stop paying too much for everything. Fresh baked bread, scrumptious soft pretzels, chocolates, homemade cookies, jewelry, crafts, handbags, home decor, yard decorations, vintage items, furniture, pet supplies, the best deals, and the best selection of unique items anywhere. Coming to the Harvey Kern Pavilion. Break and Move, October 29th and 30th, Saturday 9 to 6, Sunday 10 to 5. Free parking. Admission only $5 per adult. Children under 12 free. It's the Gift Food and Craft Show, brought to you by Ship Shawana on the Road. For a $1 off coupon, go to shipshawanaontheroad.com. Ship your mama down the road.
Yeah. Upgrade your appliances and get 11% off at Menards. We carry top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Upgrade your home today with quality, energy-efficient appliances. We offer the lowest prices with the largest in-stock appliance selection. Ready to take home today. Get 11% off appliances now at Menards. Good through October 30th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, back with you. And we're talking about the Dow Tennis Classic at the Midland Tennis Center. Starts with qualifications this Sunday. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about ticket availability and what kind of ticket packages there are for the Dow Tennis Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. So ticketing starts on Tuesday for our evening events. And anything from general admission from $20 all the way up to box seats that include our Grand Slam dining. So there's a whole range, and you can find those at dowtennisclassic.com ticketing. So anything that would fit what you're looking for, our patrons are looking for, they could find there. Also, Sunday and Monday, we have the qualifying and start some of the main draw, but that's free to come in, free admission. And during the day, Tuesday through Friday is also free. We do ask for donations if people can do it with their admission, and 100% of that goes towards scholarships for youth that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford lessons or tennis time, and goes towards our outreach.
How many young competitors enter into the Dow?
Yeah, so we have 32 players in the main draw this year and 16 in the qualifying draw, and then 16 doubles teams. And our player field this year is one of the best, if not the best, in Dow Tennis Classic history. We actually have 9 of the top 100 players in the world coming in. So
wow. And you mentioned McGrath, but the Tennis Classic has produced some champion quality players, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've produced players like Maria Sharapova, Coco Gauff, Naomi Osaka, and actually this year as well, we have 2 other personalities coming in outside of those top 100 players. That the one, Sophia Kenin, was the 2020 Australian Open champion, and then we also have another Wimbledon finalist coming in from 2014. So Beyond our top 100 players, we have an awesome variety of players as well.
So let's talk.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So we have number 27 in the world, and Shui Zhang, and I apologize to her and her family because I struggle with her name. We've never had a player of that world ranking at our event.
Yeah.
Prior. So,
what are the daily hours? When can people come?
So matches will start at 10 a.m. Sunday through Friday, with the evening session, doors opening and matches starting at 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we have our semifinals for singles that start at 2 p.m. and then the doubles finals will be at 6 p.m. on Saturday, and then Sunday the will start at 2.
And tell everybody where the tennis center is located.
900 East Wackerly here in Midland, Michigan, and we have an unbelievable facility, or tremendous facility, the largest tennis facility in the Midwest. But right on 900 East Wackerly, Midland, Michigan.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility, and it's a great event. It's an absolutely wonderful event. I equate it. I'm involved in the Great Lakes Bay Invitational, the Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational with the LPGA, and the two events, different sports, but they're comparable in providing the opportunity for these young women to come in and advance their careers. I'm amazed watching the women golfers, and I've been amazed watching the women tennis players over many, many years now.
It's incredible. We are really blessed in this region to have the support and to have the types of events that we have. You think of the Great Lakes Loons, and really this is similar. This is an opportunity to see, in a lot of cases, people before these young ladies, before they become number 1, number 5 in the world, like the Great Lakes Loons, and then, like you mentioned, LBI.
And I'm going to include the Saginaw Spirit in that too, the young hockey players that are moving on to careers later in life.
That's exactly where I was going as well. You think of our community and the professional sports that we have and the opportunities we have for young people to witness it, and some of us that aren't so young.
Yeah. Who'd you have in mind there, Jeff? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand that really well. All right, guys. Well, listen, we wish you well with a great event. Hope a lot of people turn out to see these young folks, and it's great to have these events in this area. And really, when it comes down to it, for a lot of this, hats off to Dow, who has the wherewithal and the vision to be able to bring these things to this community.
It's been a great partnership. I mean, I personally working a lot with them, but then also as a community member, myself and my family and others have benefited greatly from Dow's community support.
Yeah,
a lot of other local sponsors, but again, people can find out a lot more about the tournament at the website dowtennisclassic.com.
That's easy. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for being with us.
Appreciate you, Art. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye now. We'll take our last break and come back and close out.
Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler, host of the Money Pit Home Improvement Show. If you think you need a new roof, think again. You can avoid replacement and save thousands with RoofMax, the world's first roof rejuvenation treatment. RoofMax is a safe, easy, and affordable alternative to costly asphalt roof replacement, and it's guaranteed. So don't replace, RoofMax.
Roof Max, a safe, easy, proven, affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Call Ben today at 859-6751 or .com for a free quote.
Virginia, Kansas, Berkeley, Ventura, San Francisco, San Diego, Oakland, and Grand Junction, Little Rock, Springfield, Maryland, and Washington. Paul Young has been everywhere, man. But he hasn't spent a lot of time in Michigan. Paul Young has been away from Michigan for nearly 40 years, living in California and all around